All right, beautiful people, I'm back with another pattern type. This time we're going to solve Floyd triangle. Actually, in the last video, we have seen how to complete multiplication triangle, and this one is also similar if you can figure out for sure. Okay, so let's see whether you can figure out. I'll give you some clue. Immediately don't go for any solution. As I said, for any type of pattern, first of all, you need to figure out how many rows are there, how many columns are there, and what are the elements you're going to print inside each row. And then you need to think whether you need to print spaces or not. Those kind of things, you can think about. So here in this one, we are going to solve a triangle. So basically this pattern is a triangle, or for any triangle, you will see that the number of rows, for each number of rows, the column number will be kind of same. So let's say for the first row, there will be 1 column. For the second row, there will be 2 columns. For third row, there are 3 columns. For fourth row, there are 4 columns. So basically the number of rows and columns are same. Okay. So here you can use one loop for running the rows, for creating the rows based on the user input. And in order to create the columns, you can use the number of rows. Okay, so based on the number of the rows, you can create the column numbers. And what about the values here? So if you look more closely here, first we have 1, then 2, then 3, 4, 5, 6. So each time we are increasing by 1, right? I hope you're getting what I'm saying. So you need a count variable here, and the count variable will start from something and then you need to increase one by one. Okay, so you can pause the video, you can give it a try, and then you can come back after a few seconds and see my solution. All right, I think you have already solved it, but let's do it together. So first of all, let's go back to our program that we've been using quite a long time for solving the pattern type problem. So first of all, we are taking the user input for the rows, and we are also checking the validation whether it's an integer number or not. And of course, we could combine both of these, in one single if, but let's keep it simple. So here we are checking whether the number of rows is greater than 0 or not. Okay. And then as usual, we are using this loop for creating the rows, and then inside this inner loop is creating the columns. So here the condition, everything is perfect. Okay. And now what is the value that we want to print? This is something we need to take care. Okay. That's a very simple change we need to do. So let's say we are going to create a variable, maybe at the top or wherever you want. So here I'm going to create a variable. Let's start with 0. Okay, so initially the value is 0, but when we are coming inside here, we can increment that by 1. So there are a few ways we can do it. Let's say if I do something like this, then what is going to do here? I'm going to show you. So let's compile and run. And this time I'm going to give rows 4, and you can see it start from 0 because this is post increment, so the increment doesn't happen here immediately, right? So what we can do here, we could do something like this, count plus 1. So whatever the last value, we are incrementing by 1, and then we are printing, right? But we want to change this variable's value. So in this case, we could use, there are different ways, as I said. We can use pre-increment as well. So this is something we can do. Let's compile and run, and let's see whether it does work. So here I'm going to compile and run it again. And this time if I try with 4, there you go. It is working perfectly, right? So you can try with different inputs. Let's say I'm going to give 5 as the number of rows, and there you go, it's working completely fine. Okay, so hopefully it is making sense to you the way I'm solving this one. Again, you can check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then the number goes like that. So that should be all.